What if I told you that in the world's most expensive city, there lies a gateway to its gruesome past? Would you believe me? In the world's most expensive city, on a hill overlooking the Atlantic Ocean, lies a fortress with an interesting past. As a living relic of the country's rather bloody history, Fortaleza de Sao Miguel, or for those who speak English, St. Miguel's Fortress, tells many stories of the country's controversial past. From at one point being the center of slave trade to Brazil, to eventually becoming a fortress the country would rely on to protect itself. San Miguel's fortress continues to tell the forgotten stories of Angolan history. The country of Angola was colonized by the Portuguese in the 15th century, while they were looking for a sea route to the spice lands of India around the continent of Africa. They initially intended to set up many small trading posts along the coastline, but instead fortified them for future expeditions around the continent and to the interior of the country. Portuguese explorer Paulo Dias de Novias founded Luanda and was responsible for the construction of San Miguel's fortress in 1576, where for many years it served as its own self-contained city, protected by high walls lined with cannons. The fort was occupied by the Portuguese, where they used it as a military stronghold and a center of slave trade up until the 19th century. However, for a brief period, the city of Luanda and San Miguel's fortress was captured and put under the control of the Dutch from 1641 to 1648. Where it was then recaptured by the Portuguese. It continued to serve as a fortress and center of slave trade. Its high fortified walls served as a perfect safe haven during times of war and unrest in the region. The fortress also served as the headquarters of the command-in-chief of the Portuguese in Angola until 1975, when Angola gained its independence from Portugal. It was at this time when the fortress became the Museum of Armed Forces, and its lifetime of war and violence were put to rest. Today, the fortress continues to serve as a museum, where it contains artifacts and relics which help to tell the stories of Luanda's past. These artifacts range from statues of historical Portuguese figures, which decorated many streets and plazas of Luanda, but were removed and donated to the museum after Angola's independence in 1975. The statues include figures like Diogo Chao, who was the first European to reach Angola, Paulo Dias de Novias, who was the founder and creator of the fortress, and other notables such as Vasco da Gama, a famous Portuguese explorer. The fact that these statues were kept and displayed in the museum is a testament to the good relationship the Portuguese and Angolan citizens maintain today. The statues could have been destroyed and forgotten, but instead were saved and displayed so the city's story would be continued to be told. The museum also contains many war relics from the wars that occurred in Luanda. The museum includes bimotor airplanes, combat vehicles, and diverse arms and artifacts used during the Angolan War of Independence from 1961 to 1974, the South African Border War from 1966 to 1991, and the Angolan Civil War from 1975 to 2002. These are the artifacts that tell the stories of the country's bloody past, one of the stories being about the Angolan Civil War. Months after earning independence from the Portuguese in 1975, the country was split between two major political parties and was forced into a civil war. With over 500,000 people killed during the war, it is said to be one of the bloodiest civil wars of all time. However, regardless of the bloody history, the fortress still stands today, where it continues to look over the Atlantic Ocean and Angolan coastline, providing a gateway for visitors to learn about the country's intriguing
Regardless of the
past.
bloody history, the fortress still stands today, where it continues to look over the Atlantic Ocean and Angolan coastline, providing a gateway for visitors to learn about the country's intriguing past.